Hey, Dan Passarelli here. Welcome. Today I would like to chat about something that is really important and very misunderstood, not just by regular retail traders like you and me, but also by the professionals. After watching this video, you're going to know something more than probably 90% of most option traders know. So when we look at a volatility chart, such as this one right here, we have two lines. One is the implied volatility line. That's the one in red. That tells us how cheap or expensive the options are, which is all relative. And one of the things that's relative is to the historical volatility, which is the line here in blue, which is basically how much the underlying stock has moved around lately as measured by the annualized standard deviation. So when it comes to standard deviations, what they do is they take the closing price of the underlying stock for the past month and they find the standard deviation and then they annualize it. So think of the word deviation. When there's one big gap, one big deviation in closing prices that's far away from all the others, much bigger, what that does is that takes this calculation and think of it kind of as a moving average, because after 21 days pass, the 22nd day falls out of the calculation and the new day goes into it. Well, look at this big gap that happened right here in Citigroup a while ago, right? The closing price was here at 54.11, and then the next day, the closing price was 57.09. That's a much bigger gap than we've seen over the past, 20, 30, 40 days or whatever. So what that does is it causes this calculation to go up, but that was a sort of a one-time event. We didn't see any more big gaps like that. So what that did is, because I have this for 1 month of trading days, which is 21 trading days, that one big deviant price stays in the calculation for 21 days, and on the 22nd day it falls right back out. So one could argue, rightfully so, that during this period here on this mesa, where we have this side and then this plateau and then the other side, the historical volatility was actually wrong. And anyone using that to compare it to implied volatility or any other use would be using a bad value. So we have to I just mentally take it out of the equation. I do have some fancy tools that help me measure it and give me a more precise value, but we can just simply mentally take it out of the equation and know that the actual, taking out that one-time event, the actual historical volatility is a great deal lower than the chart says it is. So that's a volatility mesa. It kind of gives us a false reading, but now that you're armed with that knowledge, you'll be able to analyze volatility charts much, much better than 90% of all option traders. I hope that helps. I know that helps. This is Dan Passarelli, Trade Smart.